Parenting is hard. There's no question to that. It seems that what worries me the most is that I see very little parenting and a lot of being friends. And that's not what our kids needs these days. So, let's talk about that. When did it become okay to just let your kid do whatever they wanted to do because you were scared to say no? When did punishment become bad? And why do we fear that? I think that one of the biggest issues that I have with a lot of people I see, friends and such, is that they lack parenting. They want to be besties. I was that person. I was that person for a long time. When when my child came to live with me, I decided that they had had a hard life and that I didn't want to be considered mean. I didn't want to make them feel uncomfortable. So I allowed a lot more than I probably should have. And I'm here to tell you it did no good. It did no favors to them. Okay. And I look back now and I think, wow, hmm, okay, I did that. Can't change it now, but I can say this. It's not only me that I see have done that. It's many parents now. What's happened is that we're scared that if we spank our child that, the state's going to step in or somebody's going to get called or whatever. If we put rules in place, the child might be mad or, do something. And what I found, just to let you know, the biggest thing that I can help you and make you think about this is that the best success I have seen in parenting is one of those that has boundaries with parenting, meaning that they're not always the best friend and they're not always the punisher. There's the ones that say no is no and yes is yes. There's the ones that say do your chores or get in trouble. There's the ones that say your phone is not a requirement in life. It's not a necessity. It's a privilege. They're the ones that aren't scared to take the phone away. Those are the parents that are thriving. Those are the children that I see thriving. Children that have rules, consequences, they have fun, they have family. Those are the ones thriving in life. I am not telling anybody to go out and beat their child. That's not what I'm saying. But I am telling you this. If you demand respect, they give respect. And if you respect them, it makes it easier for that respect to go a long ways. I didn't get a lot of spankings growing up. I didn't. And I think about it and I'm like, man, I probably should have. But then again, I'm like, I wasn't really a child that was a trouble. My mom worked hard and my siblings helped raise me. And um, I got in trouble. I got grounded and I got a spanking a few times. And um, but what I got was love. I remember meals at the dinner table. I remember conversation. I remember that if I didn't want to eat, I would go to bed hungry. And that obviously didn't hurt me in life. I caught up somewhere. I remember having those conversations with my mom that were hard. I remember my brother being there when I started my monthly and it wasn't funny or embarrassing. Like we had a family support system, like we were a family. And I see people still living that life, and their children aren't the ones getting spankings or beaten or anything. They are the ones that have been consistent in life. They are the ones that say, you need to be in bed by 9 o'clock. They're the ones that say, I will take your phone away. They're the ones that don't even get their kids' cell phones until they're driving. The parents that are thriving are those that are following an older mentality to where they're not going to parties with their kids. They're not allowing craziness and chaos. They're not contributing to it. They're not allowing laziness. The parents that are thriving are working with their child and gaining and achieving so many goals that we don't talk about them anymore. We don't point those out. And I think that those are the ones we need to be talking about. We need to figure out what they're doing. We need to take those lessons and we need to, hand those lessons down because too many people are afraid to parent their kids. Too many people. And I promise you, I grew up with rules. I grew up with punishment. I grew up with being provided, things if I did well, did what mom said. I lived that life and I think I turned out pretty amazing. I mean, I'm just saying. Now, am I saying people that, like my kid, is she bad? No. It's just that I could have required her to do some chores. I could have required her to do things around the house to help out. I could have required her to go to bed at 10 or whatever. Now she stays up all night because that's her pattern. Like she started that from a young age. She'll probably tell you she's never been the real best house cleaner because I always did things. I didn't require that of her, you know? So I'm guilty myself of being that person. And I can tell you that it sucks that I have to say that, but it's also great that I can see it. And I see it today and I'm like, stop, don't do that. You don't want to do that because what will happen is you will not like this. It's going to be ending in negatively, you know? Everybody knows that I work with a lot of kids. I see a lot of behaviors. I see things that have happened that are traumatizing to children, and I get that the society believes that we're traumatizing children by spanking them. I do believe that that mindset has been misled and it's causing problems. It's causing issues, and we need to take parenting back. We need to take parenting back. We need to be there as a support and to really help them grow and foster good life skills. I've heard a lot said, well, schools don't teach them how to budget a checkbook or clean a house or do this. You know what? They might not. But it wasn't a problem back when I was growing up because my mom taught me that stuff. My home taught me stuff. It wasn't dependent, the school wasn't dependent on for everything. Okay. There's a lot of blame in parenting and it's sad. Well, this kid's running amok because I can't get on to my child. You can. You can get on to your child. You can have rules and you can require respect and you can, even get on to them and take things away. You can do that. You can do that. And it's okay. I always tell parents, parenting is what you make of it. Um, you can make it structured and you can make it mean even by without spankings. I have a client that has never seen a belt to their butt, but the words that have been said to them was traumatizing. Okay? So think about that. You don't have to spank them just for it to be a bad life. Sometimes a spanking would have been a better reason, like there could have been a reason for that. So we just have to take this parenting back into our own hands. We have to be willing to parent. We have to stop being afraid to parent. And nothing floors me more when I see a 5-year-old running amok at the grocery store with a cell phone in hand and a parent just like, looking over it. No, 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 no. You're setting yourself up for possible kidnapping there. You're not paying attention to the child. And they're running amok and can be picked up quicker than anything because they're not paying attention because they're like this with the phone that you handed them. No, stop. Instead, require your child to stay next to your cards. Don't give them a phone to play with. Are they going to be mad? Maybe. Is it maybe going to cause you to have to work a little bit more? Maybe. But that's what they need. When we bring kids into this world, they don't really ask for it. That's our choices. It's also us that needs to make sure that we're giving them the best life choices. I am, again, not promoting spanking a child. I'm not promoting saying mean things to a child. But I am telling you, you will be surprised the difference in a child's behaviors when you become actively involved, when you play with them, when you go outside with them, when you sit down at the dinner table, ask them how their day was, when you teach them how to bake a cake, when you have them do some chores and clean up after themselves, when you have them go to bed at a certain time, when you make them take a shower. And when they don't want to do these things, it's okay to say, go sit in your room until you figure out that that's more boring than doing anything that I've asked. You still have to feed them if they're sitting in there, right? But there's nothing saying that you can't punish them by putting them in their room for the day. I remember that, actually. I just thinking about this. I remember not wanting to eat one time. And I was being, probably my bratty self because I was the youngest and I was the only girl. And I tend to be drama when I was younger. And I can remember my mom's punishment a lot was if you don't want to sit here with the family and be quiet, go to your room. That wasn't fun. But I'm okay today. I'm okay. And I laugh about that because my mom obviously gave me a choice to sit at the dinner table and eat with them. It was my choice to run amok and be crazy and get sent to my room. You know? I do things today because of what I was taught when I was younger. If I go speed in my car and drive down the road at 70 miles an hour on a 35 miles an hour zone and I get a ticket, I don't have a right to be mad. That's the consequence. That's the consequence. I learned what consequences were way back then because my mama thought it was important for me to learn right from wrong. And she gave me consequences to my behaviors. And if she didn't, my brothers did. They followed her lead because they were in charge of me. I have people that I know today. I have friends that are scared to take away the cell phone of their child. I get it if they're going to school and they're needing a ride. I get it if you don't have a home phone and you're leaving for the day. But when you go to bed, there's nothing wrong with you taking your child's cell phone so that you know that they're going to bed and not staying up all night playing on TikTok. Pretty simple. But yet it's so hard today because we don't want to make our kids sad or worried. Well, if we went back to some of those roots, I think we would all be amazed how society changes. I am honestly scared for the generations that I talk to and see on a daily basis. They're going to be smart on a computer, going to be intelligent souls. But if it doesn't have a book or a computer or a phone, they're not going to know what to do. They're not going to know what to do. We have people that are, 20 to 25 struggling to find jobs and careers, and they shuffle from job to job to job. And it's because we have people like me that was, overprotective of not wanting to hurt, to teach them why it's important to have a job. So in a lot of ways, we've failed as parents and we failed our children. And I'm not telling you to feel guilty about it, but I am telling you that it's okay to encourage the next generation to parent their children. I am telling you it's okay to say no to your grandbabies. You don't have to let them run amok either. And if you're in the middle of this conversation and you have kids that are 10 or 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, start now. Put rules in place. Have consequences. Because once all that happens and we have consequences and we've learned our behaviors, what we get to do is we get to go and grow as a family, and we get to go have fun, and we get to go to the state fairs, and we get to go on trips and vacations. And it's because we don't have to worry as parents that they're going to act like fools. They're not going to run away. They're not going to be acting out. They're not going to cause problems. They're going to be respectful children. So, disclaimer on this is it's okay to parent. Stop being afraid to parent. Stop having that fear to parent. It's okay to have rules. It's okay to have consequences. It's not okay to beat your child or verbally abuse your child. But it is okay to go back to the basics from right and wrong, yes and no, consequences, rewards. Go back to the simple lines. That's what I have for you today on that. If you do have questions, if you need any suggestions or help, reach out. I would be glad to give you any information I have on that, because I think it's important that we talk about it and we stop letting fear override us as parents. So you can always reach out in my email. It's linked into my YouTube. And then also put a message here on the video. I'll reach out to you there. So for now, guys, I'm going to close and say thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back.